So our next step is to cover our soaps, and like I said, I took all the soaps out of the boxes. You could leave them in and wrap the box if you wanted to. You just can't get as many into the jar if you have the box, obviously. So I took some of the SEI paper, and it's double-sided, so some of the soaps you can wrap this way and some of the soaps you wrap this way, whatever you want to do. And I cut these an inch strip by like 8.5 inches or something like that, depending on what kind of soap you're using. Or you could just take your Tim Holtz scissors and just cut a straight edge across once you get your soap wrapped. Just like that. And then I'm wrapping my soap, and I'm just going to use a little of my Glue Glider Pro glue here and wrap my soap nice and tight, just like that. And then this little shape came from Georgian Basic Shapes. This is going to be where my monogram goes. So this little B, which is my last initial, came from Storybook, and you can certainly use other fonts if you'd like to, but I like the B from Storybook. So I'm just going to get a little bit of Flower Soft onto the B here, and it probably would look a little bit messy right now, but as you probably know, the Flower Soft dries clear. Okay, so we've got our B on there, and then just going to take some of my favorite craft ribbon and run it through those little slits on the side. Just tie a quick knot. Oops. Okay, and then once this monogram on here dries, you have a beautiful personalized soap. Okay, so we're ready to remove our vinyl from our shape. And like I said before, you want to be slightly careful because you've got, just slightly careful, not all the way careful. You want to be careful of that soap word that you previously sprayed on. So by using that vinyl stencil, you were able to create a beautiful, looks like etched glass, that's what it's supposed to look like, on this container for your guest bath. Now that we've got all of the pieces cut out and made for the rest of our jar, we need to start adhering those. And our squares will go on each of the sides of the jar that's not covered by the soap. Obviously, you don't want to cover that up. And then the top that you sprayed with Glimmer Mist and embossed will go on the top of the jar, just like that. Now, one thing I did want to mention is that because the top of the jar is metal, you want to use an adhesive that's made for metal. I made a slight boo-boo last year, and I made these really cool hand and body scrubs for my friends and family and put them in canning jars. Well, they had a metal lid, and I just used regular craft glue, glued my paper down, and when they got them, this was like moving all over the place and it didn't adhere. So you want to make sure that you're using something like I think there's E6000. Now the other thing that you need to be careful of with using those kind of adhesives though is that you definitely do not want to breathe them, and there actually is a warning on the back about if you are pregnant or thinking about expecting, you know, having children, that you should not be using that because the vapors are so harmful. So you really do want to be careful when you're using a product like that. Just use it in a well-ventilated area. So in order to attach this, I'm going to use that kind of adhesive, and then for my sides here, you can use a regular craft glue or like a Flower Soft or something like that. I've got, you know, the Eileen's craft glue here that I like to use, and one tip that I'd like to offer when you're using this kind of technique and not Mod Podging it is that you want to get your adhesive all the way out to the edges so that they stick onto your glass jar. And if you need to use a paintbrush and just get that adhesive all the way out to the edges, that is a really good thing to do, because then you're sure that those edges will stay down firmly. And this dries clear, so you don't have to worry about being able to see it through the glass jar. So I'm just going to tip my jar on the side here and put that paper down right in the center. And this is a little bit smaller than my other shape that I had used on my previous version. I think I used Design Studio and I was able to, but depending on the size of your jar, you know, obviously you're not going to cut the same exact shapes unless you can find the same exact jar at your craft store. So then you just glue that on nice and tight down, and do that, repeat with the rest of your sides until your entire jar is covered. And then the last finishing touch for your jar would be some ribbon around the top. So I just took some cream colored craft ribbon and used my Tim Holtz scissors here. We've used them so much, I think they're just beginning to get dull, if you can believe that, but we've used them a lot. So I just tied a simple knot like that, and then I made a really cool bow using that same cream colored ribbon, and then some ribbon that you could see through. Just kind of gives it a little bit of a sheared look. So to make that ribbon, I just took a length and I went back and forth a couple times with my ribbon. And then I just tied it in the center . And made myself a very pretty bow on the jar. Thanks very much for watching our soap jar tutorial. We hope that you enjoyed learning, and we enjoy teaching you how to use your Cricut in fun, creative ways. If you have any questions regarding our project, please let us know. We'd be more than happy to field any questions that you may have. And don't forget to leave a comment or subscribe to our YouTube channel so that we can keep creating more fun-filled content for you. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.